Hi, welcome back to my channel. In my previous video, I shared the experience of trying out for the first time Caran d'Ache's Neocolor II, which are the water-soluble or aquarelle wax crayons. As a sequel to the first video, I'm now going to do a similar review of the Mungyo Watercolor Crayons, which are a set of 36 assorted colors. I'm going to follow the same approach like I did for the Caran d'Ache Neocolor II, which is review the packaging, the price, and then open up the pack and review the individual water-soluble wax crayons. So let's get started. My first impressions on the packaging is that it comes in this beautiful tin box, seems sturdy. And in this corner they have the product safety declaration, which is basically to indicate it is non-toxic and safe when used as intended. Let's turn this over. So it says here, made from the finest pigments and selected materials, the Gallery watercolor crayons offer outstanding colors and mixability. After drawing, one can easily paint over with a wet brush or dampened fingers to create a beautiful watercolor effect. These crayons are ideal to explore various drawing techniques, and each crayon is individually wrapped for easy color identification and comfort. And this product is made in Korea. Coming to the price, this is a set of 36 and the MRP is rupees 2100 or 2100. And I purchased this from the same online store, which is Himalaya Fine Art, and I got a 10% discount like the way I had got for the Caran d'Ache Neocolor II sets. Thing to note here is that this set of 36 at a discounted price or even at a full price is cheaper than any of the Caran d'Ache Neocolor II set of 10. Again, a very attractive looking tin box. So this opens up like this. First impression is that they look really nice. They have this little swatch sheet here, which again I'm going to just keep and I'm going to swatch out my own colors. They look lovely. Just on closer inspection, this looks like it's got the wax component coming through clearly in the pastel stick, wax pastel stick. I think they're on some of the darker colors. I'm not sure if it's the way it's meant to be. Let me just take out a similar color from the Neocolor II and just compare them. So this is vermilion. This is vermilion. So interestingly, the Neocolor II is longer than the Mungyo wax crayon. So yeah, if you can see that there is definitely a more prominent whitish or a more waxy look to the Mungyo wax crayons as compared to the Neocolor II. I'm not sure if it affects the performance while you're applying it to paper and then dissolving it with water, but we'll come to that. So this is just the first impression in terms of how it looks and what I see. Let's pick up a darker color. For example, let's pick up Prussian blue. This is Prussian blue. And yeah, so that again is Prussian blue and Prussian blue in comparison. So of course the hues itself look different in both the sets. And again here, if you will see, the Neocolor II doesn't have that white mark on the entire body of the wax crayon, whereas This one seems to have that waxy whitish look on the surface. Another thing is when I just sniff these, they remind me of the wax crayons as kids that we used to have. I guess any new art supply when open looks so inviting, and so does this. So I can't wait to try these out and swatch them like before, and then probably create a little artwork too. I'm just going to first test out a few of these colors like I had done for the Neocolor II on this 300 GSM cold pressed paper. So there are a few colors which are not exactly comparable. For example, the vibrant blue greens. I'm kind of missing that in this set of Mungyo 36 wax crayons. It was there, of course, as a part of the cold palette in Caran Neocolor II. Each set has its own color, so we are going to work with whatever is the closest and then go from there. Oh, that's vibrant. So definitely feels harder, more waxy as compared to the Neocolor II. Now I had applied white to see how it tints to one side of the swatch. Just going to now activate it with water. This is light blue. I'd expected it to be slightly more watercolory in that sense, in terms of transparency. We'll see for the other colors too that we're going to swatch. This is with the white included, and I think the difference was more stark in this case, not so much here. Now I'm going to try a rose pink. So another thing I'm noticing is the shavings that come off when you're applying this dry. Another thing I'm noticing is that there was pigment which was adequate in Neocolor II and could go a long way. And while the individual crayons from Mungyo are really vibrant in its dry and wet state, I think the concentration or the saturation of the pigment seems slightly less as compared to Neocolor II. So look, I'm not being able to distinguish. So the texture of gouache versus watercolory is not so clear in my view for Mungyo. I definitely could feel it and experience it when I was doing the same thing with Neocolor. Yeah. Yeah, that's a lovely blue-green. So it depends on how dark the original pigment is. If you make very deep markings, it'll show through for sure, even when dissolved with water. And the same dark pigment could, even when applied lightly, could leave a little bit of a stain of the dry mark. If it's a light color, I've noticed that it's probably not so easy to spot the marks once it's been activated by water. So we're ready for swatching, and I've followed the same process as I did for the Neocolor II, with the 4 lines being drawn with graphite pencil, a wax color pencil, a micron tip pen, and an acrylic marker. This is just to see the opacity of the wax crayons. in its dry as well as wet state. Another quick observation is these little tearaway marks given on Neocolor II potentially make it easy to tear off the paper as you consume the wax crayon. But in the Mungyo wax crayon, there is no particular mark on the paper, so you will just have to tear off the paper how much ever you need. So I'm using the 200 GSM oil pastel paper by Momart, like I'd done for Neocolor II. There's a bleed on the wax color pencil, obviously because the two wax medium as such blend each other out. This is just to show that when you're using it as a mixed media, how it reacts with different drawing tools. I do see a slight bleed even in the graphite pencil in the case of the Mungyo wax crayons. So the dissolvability is really nice and easy. The good thing about the wax crayons which are water soluble, they're also a great drawing tool. So you may not need to use an undersketch with a graphite tool. You can use these directly. So all in all, very nice colors as well as some of the more muted greens. And overall, the experience of applying these in its dry state, I think it was good. On this paper, it seemed a little bit more difficult as compared to applying it on the 300 GSM cold pressed watercolor paper, which was 25% cotton. They found that when applying these wax crayons in a dry state, there were lots of these pigment residues or the wax residues that were coming out, and I had to keep blowing it off the paper. But apart from that, I think these pigments activate so well with water. For the next phase where I do a little artwork, I'm going to just refer to the same book like I had done for the Neocolors II, and we'll do the potted Pilea. So this is a fun little artwork done in relatively a short amount of time. I could not find the Lightfast ratings on the internet. If you're a hobbyist or starting out with art and coloring medium, this could be a great place to start. And as you progress or choose your medium in which you want to sell professionally your artworks, you could of course graduate to artist grade, which also have Lightfast ratings and of course are much more expensive as we saw, and have got a few other benefits. I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you in my next video. Till then, happy painting.